Welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. I'm your host Rashida, and today we're making an apple sour cream cake. I was inspired from my visit to the apple pumpkin farm this weekend, to which I brought a variety of apples back, and I wanted to try something new with them. Saw this recipe online for this apple sour cream cake, and I said, hey, we can make that together in the kitchen. We can try it out, see how it turns out. It sounds delicious, and I believe it'll turn out delicious. We'll either give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumbs to the side. Come on in the kitchen with me, grab your apron, and let's get ready to cook and make this apple sour cream cake on Let's Get Cooking. Stay tuned. For our apple sour cream cake, we have our diced apples, finely diced apples. I used a combination of musu apples, stamen, and a golden delicious. You can use any variety of apples that bake well. So you can definitely use your Granny Smith. You can use Fuji apples. Anything that's crisp and crunchy, you can always bake with. So those are my combination of apples today. We have some sour cream, some eggs, baking powder, baking soda, vanilla, cinnamon, our flour, and we have some brown sugar and white sugar. So these are our ingredients. Pretty simple, pretty basic, and we're just going to start mixing them and preparing them for our apple sour cream cake. Okay, we're going to start off by mixing our room temperature butter, which is 1 stick, a half a cup of butter. Let's put that in the bowl with 1 cup of sugar. Okay, so we have our milk, our room temperature butter, and there we're adding our white sugar. I'm using a hand mixer today. No need to pull out the big mixer. Okay, so there you have it. We mixed our butter and sugar, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and now we're going to add our eggs one at a time. I'm going to crack the eggs. I like to crack them in the bowl first so I can make sure, of course, there are no shells, and just make sure it's a nice clean egg. And those two are perfect. All right, we're going to add those in. That's looking nice. Go ahead and add a splash of vanilla. Like I always say, vanilla just makes any dessert taste that much better. Levels it up. Now we're going to prep our dry ingredients, and that's really easy. We have 2 cups of flour, and we're going to add to that 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon, had to wipe that off, of baking soda. And we always like to add a little splash of and here we're adding just a little bit of salt. Salt just enhances the flavor to anything that you bake or anything that you cook, but you don't need a lot. And especially when you bake, you just need a tad. So once we mix that, that's our dry ingredients. I am going to add just a little bit of cinnamon, because I think apples and cinnamon just go hand in hand, like peanut butter and jelly. So just add a little cinnamon on this end to the dry ingredients. And we're going to begin adding that to our wet mixture, our egg mixture, along with a cup of sour cream. Okay, we're going to start part of our flour. Mix that in. Not too long. And then we're going to go ahead and add part of our sour cream. Remember, it's a cup of sour cream. And the sour cream needs to be room temperature also. Want to avoid over mixing. Then we're going to go ahead and add our sap, the rest of our dry ingredients, the rest of our flour. And then the rest of our sour cream. How simple is this recipe? My goodness, I love the simplicity of it. I'll wipe down my little spatula just like that. And then continue to mix them. Okay, now we're going to take our spatula that we just used and we are going to fold in the apples. And it looks like a lot of apples. This is, actually I will go with about 3 medium-sized apples, because as I was cutting 4, I just stopped because I was like, I think that's going to be too many apples. So this is a good 3. And we're going to mix in our apples, but we're going to mix them in with our spatula. And we're just going to kind of fold them in, because they have taken over. Oh, this is going to be an apple bonanza. Oh, but it's going to come out good. So now we're mixing our cake batter, as simple as it was, with our apples. Do you see how great that looks? And of course, I always tell you, it just smells even better than it looks. You have the cinnamon, the sugar, and then you have the apples mixed in. And just like that, that part of your apple cake mixture is finished. Now we're going to just prepare the streusel, which is the brown sugar and the cinnamon, which is we're going to layer before, as we put it in our pan to bake. So that is our apple sour cream cake mixture right there. Doesn't that look awesome? Stay tuned. There's that awesome cake batter. Yummy with those chunks of apples. Goodness. For our streusel layer, we're making a streusel layer with brown sugar and cinnamon. And actually, the recipe calls for brown sugar, cinnamon, and nuts. But because I do have a daughter that's allergic to nuts, I am going to make 2 versions. I'm going to split this up. And I'm going to make a no-nut version. I'm going to split the streusel in half and add nuts to half of it. No nuts to the other half. So I'm making individual, I'm going to make, instead of one big sour cream cake, I'm going to make individual loaves. So 2 of the loaves will have no nuts and 2 of the loaves will have the nuts. But the basis for our streusel is the brown sugar, a cup of brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1. And you always could be liberal with your cinnamon because cinnamon is a great flavoring. Okay, and then we're actually going to add a half a stick of butter. And we're going to mix that in. And there you have it, our streusel layer. It's brown sugar, cinnamon, and a 1/4 cup of butter, which is a half a stick. I use room temperature butter because I just had it available, but you can use cold butter right out the refrigerator. You just may want to use a food processor because it's just going to be harder to combine it, or just like a pastry mixer, and it'll take you a few minutes to mix it all in. So now we're going to get ready to put in our cake, getting our cake layers ready for the oven. Okay, like I said a little while earlier, that I'm going to be using this mini loaf pan today instead of your standard 9 by 13, which is what the recipe calls for. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start to layer. So it said, the recipe says to put a layer of your cake batter in the pan. Okay, so once we do that, we're going to just spread that out. That's your first layer. Then you want to take some of your little mixture. And we're going to sprinkle that. Well, we'll just drop it in there. Flatten it out. So we want to go ahead and take a little bit of our streusel brown sugar mixture and go ahead and put it in there. Add a little bit more. Now I tried to do it the fancy way, but I think I'm just going to sprinkle the next layer with my hand. So we have one layer completed. Then we're going to take our mixture and we're going to double it up. So I'm going to leave this cake batter and I'm going to make another one, adding some chopped walnuts. Now I'm going to just take my fingers for this one and just kind of sprinkle it on. That was kind of hard to spread. And I believe that's the default of using softened butter. So if you can, remember to use cold butter because it'll just be easier to sprinkle into the batter. But this is fine. It's going to come out still good. Still, no, we're hoping for great. We're hoping for thumbs up because remember, this is our first time making this. So we're kind of grating it as we go. And I say just mix it, the brown sugar in a little bit with the cake batter. And I just layer up the flavors. It'll just bake into the cake, making it pretty. We haven't even talked about how this is gonna look. Okay. There we have it, guys. Our apple sour cream cake is ready. We have made our layered cake batter, streusel, brown sugar streusel, cake batter, and then another layer of streusel. So now it's going in the oven to bake for about 30 minutes, and we will see how it comes out. I am excited. It looks good. It was simple, and I bet it's just going to taste great. So we're going to go in the oven, and it'll see you when it comes out. We'll see how pretty it bakes up. I'm believing for positive, good, absolutely scrumptious results. Look at that, my Let's Get Cooking family. Those look awesome, fresh out the oven. Smelling up the house with that cinnamon apple aroma. I love the look. So you get 2 thumbs up just on that look. I see that swirl in there. Now they're quite warm, so I'm gonna let them cool off. But I had an idea. I think I'm gonna add a little glaze on there, just a little powdered sugar glaze, and I think that's just gonna take it up a notch and make it even better. So stay tuned for the results. Looking good. I'm excited to taste it. Okay, we're making the world's easiest glaze. You want to do a cup, about a cup, powdered sugar. I'm not measuring because you really can't go wrong. About a teaspoon vanilla. A little bit of milk. That just depends on your consistency. And stir. Easy. Glaze is so easy, but packs a lot of flavor and punch. And to balance some of that sweetness, I'm going to put just a little squeeze of lemon. Everything is just so sweet that lemon gives it a nice acidic balance. You know, it's not even overpowering. That is our glaze that we're going to go ahead and put over our apple sour cream cake. Yeah. What that take? 1 minute? 2 minutes? Instant glaze, instant icing, nice and loose. You guys, there it is. This thing, this cake is so moist, so warm. I had a little taste, and I'm gonna tell you, if I had 3 hands, it would actually get 3. No, this cake, so warm, so moist, so flavorful. Y'all, if I had 3 thumbs, it would get a 3 thumbs up. I went ahead and added a little glaze on it. You only need a little. A little goes a long way. But without the glaze, because that's just added goodness, but without the glaze, it tastes superb. And I'm not just saying that because I made it. I want you to try it. This was an absolutely fabulous recipe. I had just a little pinch of one of the other loaves, and it tastes just like it says. Apple sour cream cake with a burst of cinnamon. It tastes good. So our finale is that it gets 2 thumbs up from yours truly. Now it's your turn to get all your ingredients and bake up this apple sour cream cake. It came out wonderfully. I will definitely be adding it to my recipes, my dessert recipes, or you can eat this, and it's not just dessert. It's probably great in the morning for breakfast. Have a little slice. If you drink coffee, it's definitely, it can be a breakfast cake. Let's Get Cooking, family. This gets a 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up if I had it. For me, it is flavorful. It is good. The apple chunks are a great addition. It is so super moist. It's just a winner. So I hope that you make it. I hope that you try it. There's some good stuff right here. I'll see you next time on Let's Get Cooking. Go ahead, get your ingredients, get your apron on, and make your apple sour cream cake. See you soon.